Party people, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show, I am joined by Isabel J. Kim for a game of Death of the Author. Isabel is a speculative science fiction author, a podcaster, host of Wow If True, a podcast about internet culture, and her debut novel Sublimation is debuting on June 2nd. Pre-orders for that are out right now. You can find a link to that in the show notes. And it has already been named one of the most anticipated titles from USA Today, Glamour, LitHub, The New Scientist, The Nerd Daily, Library Journal, and more. And yeah, I will say I've been given an advance copy of the book. I've been working my way through it slowly and surely, and I will say, it fucking rips, dude. It's real good. Crossing a border cuts you in two. When you immigrate, you leave a copy of yourself behind. One person enters their new country, the other stays trapped at home. That's where our story starts, and it evolves into a story of doppelgangers, corporate intrigue, heartbreak, betrayal, and the harsh permanence of the border. I was already a fan of Isabel's writing for her short story work, such as Why Don't We Just Kill the Kid in the Homeless Hole? And this book is truly something special. You can find links to pre-order Sublimation, as well as links to all of Isabel's other work in the show notes. The game we sat down to play was Death of the Author by Blinking Birch Games, a 1-2-player tarot RPG about a character fighting for agency within their own story. If you know me, you know that I love metafiction, you know I love stories about stories, and this game absolutely fucks. You create these characters that slowly realize that their fates are being written by some cosmic author in a plane above them and choose to rebel against that, and it really gets my wheels spinning. I was really excited by this game. I think we had a really wonderful session. I think you're going to love listening to it. You can find more information about Death of the Author also in the show notes. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am so excited. I'm sitting now with Isabel J. Kim. Isabel, thanks so much for coming on Party of One.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I think this is going to be a blast. I have been reading over the game text, and I've been really just in the space of this game, and it's going to get big and weird and emotional and all of the things that I want from a game. I couldn't be more excited. But before we get into all of that, why don't you take a moment, let our lovely listeners at home know about anything that you've got going on you want them to know about.
Hi, I'm Isabel. I'm a science fiction author, used to be an attorney. Now I mostly just type at the screen, which is honestly not that different from my old job, but I have a book coming out in approximately a couple of months, depending on when this releases, and it is up for pre-order. It is called Sublimation, and it is about a universe where crossing the border splits a person in two. I wrote this years ago when it was not nearly as relevant as it is now, but it's good, I promise. And also, if you buy it, then I don't have to go back to the law firm, which I would love personally.
You know what? That's as far as I see it as a win-win. That feels like a win-win. And yeah, you know what? There's a certain kind of feeling. I won't call it a joy to writing a thing and then going, oh wow, this is suddenly a lot more relevant than when I put pen to paper. But that feeling, whatever it is certainly there, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit. I have had a couple of conversations with my editor about how, wow, this one got timed perfectly, and we both don't know how to feel about it because it being timed perfectly coincides with a lot of human suffering.
Right. That's the rub of it. Of boy, wow, we landed on a thing that is perfectly for the moment, but I kind of wish that wasn't the case.
Yeah, just a little bit. Do you know the Tumblr Apollo dodgeball prophecy meme?
Oh, I love the Apollo dodgeball meme. That is never fully exits my brain, especially in the frankly very dumb world that we live in today, where it's constantly popping up on every the strangest shit posts are consistently the ones where somebody has to go, yeah, I had the dodgeball today. That was me. Didn't anticipate it, but it's here.
Yeah, this is how I feel these days.
What else can you say but who boy? I'm stoked. We've got a game in front of us today that I think is going to be really magnificent. It is one that I have been itching to play, and I've been looking for an excuse to play it, and I'm so excited. We are playing Death of the Author. It is a solo or two-player game about a fictional character trying to wrest control of their own narrative from the author that is trying to write their story. Now, I want to throw this to you at the very top and say, I pitched you a couple games. What is it about this game that's got you excited? What is on your mind as you're sitting down to play? What are you hoping to get out of the experience? Where's your head at?
So when you pitched this to me, so everything you sent me looked great, but I was super excited about this one specifically because it reminded me of Something Is Wrong Here, which is an indie,
Sure.
like 5-person, like tabletop role playing game that is very like deeply just like based on like David Lynch movies and also creating like a narrative from like a bunch of random stuff. I was also super excited about this because, I love meta narrative, and anyone who's read any of my work will like see me playing this and go like, yeah, that's a game that Isabel would play. This makes sense. And I love it when the author wants something that the characters don't, both in tabletop games when, I love when I'm I play a lot of tabletop role-playing games. And so there's been a lot of times where we are playing and somebody's like, guys, I'm sorry. My boy's gonna do this. I know this is the worst thing to do. However, have you considered he would do this? And it's always like, well, yeah.
It's such a joyful moment. It's a joyful moment where like the magic of the play experience like takes center stage of like, I know this is gonna go bad. I know it's gonna break as bad as it can possibly break, but we all know that there's no other direction for this story to go with these characters in this moment.
Exactly. And so yeah, I thought this would be a fun way to like untangle like what it feels like to be a character in a story and also what it feels like to be an author who is like, oh god, my boy, he's rebelling against me.
I am stoked for this particularly because the scenario presented I don't think this is an intentional point of reference. It might be, but is deliberately the exact setup and arc of, I guess, spoilers for a just shy of 35-year-old comic book, but it is it is the exact arc of the comic book that made me study comic books in college and like shaped the like fundamental arc of my entire life, which is Grant Morrison's Animal Man, of a like fictional character realizing that they are in a fictional story and going, "Hey, this is fucked. Hey, what the hell? What the hell?"
Okay, should I read this?
Oh,
I haven't read
Animal
this.
Man is there's chunks of it that are like there's parts of it that are dated, but like it remains one of my favorite comic books of all time. And if you love a meta narrative, if you love a character slowly realizing that they are within the confines of a fictional story and like working to rebel against that, that is precisely what happens with an Animal Man. It is a B tier or a C tier superhero whose life starts to unravel, and as it unravels, he realizes that there are walls around him and starts to slowly realize that the fourth wall is there and that someone is looking in on him.
Oh man.
And the climax of it is he has to walk through the infinite limbo of characters that have not been used in a while and like all of the like obscure characters that have fallen by the wayside before kind of punching through reality and having a long conversation with Grant Morrison of like, hey, why did you torture me in all of these specific ways? Like, what happened?
Hey, that's so fucked. That sounds so good. It reminds me a little bit of like I forget when it's from, but it's a really old like Flex Mentallo comic, which is just about like
I think that is also
that's also Grant Morrison, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Like, okay, guy was a specific. I didn't know that was one of his preoccupations, and now I know that.
Yep. Grant Morrison deeply obsessed with the ways in which fiction like is a construct and the magic of fiction. And sometimes you look at an author's work and you go, oh, I see it. Yep, I see how this shaped me. I see how I became the guy that I am today because I was cursed with your preoccupations and they have become my own. Great.
And that's what's powerful about art.
That's what's magic about art. That's the joy of it, is that like the things that drive me up a wall, I can subject you to and force you to be I can incept you with the things that burrowed into my brain. And with all that said, I think speaking of incepting ideas and burrowing into brains, I think we're ready to kick this guy off.
Let's do it.
The first big question. Because we are sitting down with the two of us, this is a story about an author and a character, and I will throw you the big question. Do you want to play the author or the character?
I think I want to play the character, if only to give myself a change of pace.
Okay, great. Yeah, great. Fantastic. So I will play the author, which means that like I will be interpreting some of these cards and setting up some scenes for you, and you will be, as we play, reversing some things, altering some things, and then eventually confronting the person that has subjected you to the story that you are in. And to do that, we need to understand a little bit about like the story that we're telling and the characters that we are telling a story about. So I will throw this to you. What genre, setting, style of story, what rack in the bookstore, where are we? What is the type of story that you want to be playing around in? What is the style of character that you want to be embodying?
Okay, so this is just because you mentioned you were using the Philly tarot deck.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would be fun to set it in Philadelphia.
Sure. You're speaking my language.
And, for context for those of you at home, I lived there for 7 years. I went to school there for an obscenely long time. And I think, and this is just because, okay.
Talk me through where you're at.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is, well, there's two things I'm thinking about. First, I'm thinking about how I just finished, I'm like 2/3 of the way through finishing Dispatch, which like, at the time of recording just came out. And it's like superheroes in the real world type of thing. And the other thing I'm thinking about is, and the reason I kind of made like a noise there is I didn't want to know, I wasn't sure if I wanted to say this because I'm not sure if I want to write this as a novel, but I think it's a fun concept, which is basically retired like concept of a hero, like who is now working as an insurance agent because he does not want to train his successor who is going to murder him in, the grand tradition of like wuxia novels and stuff like that.
That fucks. Here's the thing. If that novel comes to life, I will be there day one because what a one sentence fucking pitch. I love retired superhero in my beloved city of Philadelphia. There's something real magical, and there's like, and maybe like what I want to throw in is, or if we're picturing like the visuals of Philadelphia, I think like what I want to picture is like a city that is largely, the idea that there is a retired superhero means that like they had a career and they've done all of the things. And the fact that it's a city that like still kind of looks like what a city would look like today means that this is a hero that has had not a, like a, I think a lot about like, if Reed Richards wanted to, he would like, the world would be unrecognizable, but that would make a bad superhero comic of like, the idea of a superhero who retired without necessarily having really changed the status quo is very compelling to me.
Yeah.
And I think that feels like such a compelling story to set up, that I'm really excited to play in that space. So now that we've got a general picture and a general vibe, I'm going to pull out I've got a deck of tarot cards in front of me. I've got my Philadelphia tarot deck, and it's split into our 4 minor arcana suits and a deck of our major arcana, and I'm going to flip 3 of these major arcana cards to give you a picture of who you are as the protagonist, who a friend of yours is, a lover, a family member, an ally, and who a foe is, a rival, a sworn enemy, or other opponent. These will give us some things to play around in as we flesh out our fictional world. Talk to me about who your character is. I have flipped the Empress. The Empress on this deck is Betsy Ross. Talk to me about what comes to mind as you think about your character. Like, who is your character? What is the vibe? The Empress represents work ethic, nurturing, fertility. This is Betsy Ross sewing the flag. This deck really brings me nothing but joy every time I get to describe what is on a card. Talk to me about like what seeds come to mind for who your character is.
Now I'm trying to get the image of Betsy Ross out of my head. Okay, so the Empress, I think what I'm getting from that is like, interesting. I thought the protagonist was gonna be a dude, but with the Empress, I'm thinking more like woman who was supposed to take over a superhero organization and has deliberately chosen not to.
Oh, that's really fascinating.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that probably her power is, I kind of like the idea of giving her something like a poison ivy thing.
Sure, that fucks.
Yeah. And I think she was probably in a place where if she had, like, before the story begins, I think she's in a place where if she wants, she is being asked to take over whatever organization, like, whatever Justice League equivalent is around here, and she doesn't want to.
That feels great. That feels really good, especially because I've now flipped a card for an ally. And the card I flipped is the Hermit. And the Hermit here, like, really pulling on the visuals on this Hermit card and, like, the person that is represented here. This is, let me remind myself, I always forget this is Isaiah Zagar, the man who, Philadelphia lore is the guy responsible for the Philadelphia Magic Gardens and, like, the surrounding neighborhoods of, like, covering things in these beautiful gemstone, collages. It's why like a chunk of that section of Silly is just covered in tiny little pieces of, like, covered in just wild little, like, gemstone patterns, and there's something really incredible about a visual of, like, if this is so there's two directions, and maybe I'll throw this to you and say which one is more compelling, because, like, there is the direction that this is, like, a friend of yours who is part of this organization and is, like, trying to convince you to take over the role, right? Like, somebody who is still affiliated, and with a sort of, like, magical infusion power of, like, or being that it is the Hermit, like, there's also the possibility that, like, this is someone else who has refused the call and abandoned things, and that, like, is, like, your confidant in having walked away from the superhero world.
Ooh, can I pitch that this is someone who convinced the protagonist to leave the organization and set up shop with them in Philadelphia?
That's great. Yeah, that hits really hard. That's a good third option. That's great. So the two of you, like, haven't, like, so I'm almost so it almost sounds like it's like a private eye situation of, like, we are, like, we are helping people out on an individual scale because the large scale organization that we were once a part of has not lived up to its end of the bargain.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that feels right. And then I think this is also for the protagonist very much, oh shit, I'm returning to my hometown where there's there's a lot of problems here.
Yeah.
That, like, this larger organization, which was more concerned with, like, large scale threats, basically cannot address or doesn't have the desire to address because for, like, just a variety of reasons. And so, like, the main character, like, I've been convinced to move back home to try and fix things here for a bit.
That rips. And I flipped my third card, and I've got a fully fleshed out character immediately.
Ooh.
If you have moved back home to, like, fix problems and, like, have, like, abandoned this, it feels too good to not have the antagonist figure be the new head of an organization that is, like, furious that they've been spurned. And I flipped the card the Chariot, and so, like, the visual of a sun figure, I'm going with Helios as a,
100%
rides the fucking sun chariot into battle. Like, the idea, so the story that I've got in my head now is, like, you are back in your hometown of Philadelphia, fixing problems on, like, a small scale neighborhood level, when the fucking sun god himself, like, bursts in on a flaming chariot. There's the drama of I am trying to impact small personal change when, you know, all fire and sunlight and wrath has come crashing into town to kind of specifically turn my community against me and sort of, like, strong arm you into taking up the call is, like, a very compelling conflict.
I like the idea that, like, the opening scene here is basically, like, main character, she's in, like, an empty lot that she is turning into a garden, and this dude comes in on his fucking chariot meteor thing, like, destroying a third of the lot.
That feels great. That feels so good. And, like, there is, that is such a good introduction for this character. And, like, the destruction that follows in his wake, and also just the like unreality that follows in that wake, right? Like it is a I am bringing the chaos of a superhero universe in my stead by virtue of riding in on this flaming chariot.
Oh, wait, can I make a pitch for this universe as well?
Yes, please.
Which is that basically the more... So, superheroes and, like, basically superpowered individuals in this universe, the more they use their powers, the more they attract problems. Like,
sure.
The scale of their superhero, like, antics or, like, whatever powers they're using attracts the scale of, like, stuff that is coming after them. So it's like how you don't really want to live in Metropolis because Superman is there, so you're gonna have Superman-sized problems. Yeah.
That feels
and
great.
This is like a well-known thing. So there's also kind of like this tension of like, if she's in Philadelphia and she uses the full extent of her powers, she's gonna bring more problems to them. But if she uses like her fame or just like low-level powers, then she can maybe make a difference. Or if she tries to use her fame to like, interact with like City Hall or something, or try and like, bring awareness to issues, this is something that will not bring on like, the wrath of the cosmos.
That feels great. That really, I love that. I love that, and I love that as a conflict of like an embodiment of like the disaster that could be is now knocking on the door, and how how the neighborhood that you're trying to improve is going to react to that. Great. So we're done. That's it. We nailed it. Okay. Great. So now, like I, as the author, am going to, I've got 4 decks of cards. We have 5 chapters in front of us. Chapters 1 through 4, you are going to fight the author for narrative control of the story. Each of these chapters consists of 3 scenes. I am going to draw 3 cards. I'm going to use an alternate rule here that says I can look at all 3 cards at the top of the thing to kind of give a picture of like what the arc is going to look like, and I'll kind of tell you what each of the scene prompts are. And then as we play through each scene, you're going to have the option each chapter to reverse one of the prompts that are in front of you, or defy one of the prompts that are in front of you. Basically, your character is going to be able to exert some of this control and steadily steal the narrative away from me as I am laying it out in front of you.
Yeah. Also, wait, I think you also need to...
Oh, did I miss a step?
I don't think you missed a step. Never mind.
Great.
Nope, you're good. Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
You're good. Okay, great. So then I am going to flip our first... Oh, wait, no, I am supposed to do a small thing at the start of our story, which is I'm supposed to give you a message.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one piece that I have missed, which is at the start of chapter 1, I throw you a message. Where is it? At the beginning, before the story began, I leave you a message. Which means I'm going to draw a card from the major arcana to determine the nature of this message, and you're going to tell me what your first impression of the author is. I have drawn a reversed temperance. This feels very good as a message. I already see exactly what the message is. I think the message that I am conveying, based on the temperance card and like what is portrayed on the card, I think that the message is it's going to be difficult. There is going to be suffering. It's going to be like, it's going to find a way to work out. Just trust the process.
Okay.
I think that is the message that I think the author wants to convey, is like, this is ultimate, like, it's gonna work out if you just trust the process and let it happen.
Okay, and I think the character, when she gets this message, I feel like we should give her a name.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Hold on, I'm gonna look up plant names real quick.
always the go-to. If nothing quite like Googling a list of terms and going, this is the one that sounds cool.
Oh, actually, God, okay, Google is actually very helpful for the first one. Okay, Iris, because Greek goddess of, like, rainbows, messengers, flower, that sort of stuff.
That feels great.
Yeah. Alright, so Iris sees this, and Iris interprets this as, shit is gonna get weird again, you are gonna get dragged back into your old life.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah, I can see how I can see how that message would be read in that way. Sure, 100%. And like the idea that message arrives moments before. I'm gonna flip this first card to see how the meeting between Helios and Iris like plays out. But the idea that you get that message, and then immediately on a flaming chariot, the world's most powerful superhero like lands in a lot that you've been tending to, and is like, "Hey, are you coming back or not?" I have in front of me the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles represents the prompt. The scene prompt, upright, you are haunted by an impossible choice. As I present you these 3 scene prompts, you can choose to reverse it, which each prompt comes with an upright and a reversed prompt. In this case, it is you are haunted by a ghastly sight. Or you can defy the prompt and just tell me what you want an impossible choice to be instead. You can be haunted by whatever you like. Would you like the other 2 scene prompts, or do you want to take it one scene at a time?
Let's do all 3 scene prompts, if that's cool.
You are haunted by an impossible choice. I've got the 7 of Pentacles. You are at your parents' side when they die.
Whoa, okay.
Or a reversed Page of Pentacles, which is you make a promise to your friend that costs you dearly.
Okay, and then each of these is a separate scene that happens here, right?
Yes, yeah. This is like the first arc of the story. Each of them is a separate scene that is going to occur. And you can choose to reverse one of these prompts or defy one of these prompts. Each of them has an underlined section, which means that you can either choose the other prompt that is on that accompanying section, or just make up your own phrase and steal control of the narrative from the author altogether.
All right, then I think going in so looking at it from above, I'm going to defy the 7 of Pentacles, because that's a rough one. That's a rough one to start it off with. But I think so, and I think the first scene, which is
you're haunted by an impossible choice.
All right. So my pitch here for what's happening here is that Helios comes in and he's like, and then Iris is like, I told you I was out. And he says, okay, but if you're out, Philadelphia's outside of the protection zone now. You know that, right?
Let's go.
Like, so, and then basically what this means in context here is like, and then he kind of goes and lists like, yeah, all like supernatural threats, all like, you know, all of the space shit, all of the stuff that I've been dealing with while you were gone. This is going to be your problem. And then I think they kind of turn into sort of, and then I think she's kind of like, he's a big personality and she's kind of just like gray rocking him.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if you're the author, like, what do you think he says when he's leaving?
I think he says something to the effect of, you can tell yourself whatever you need to, but none of us are ever really out of this. Like, it is a like, it's coming, all of it, everything is coming for you. You can choose to address it directly, or you can stand by and let it happen, but you're in this. And if you, and like inaction is just letting the worst case scenario happen. None of us ever truly walk away.
Classic thing to say as a superhero.
Yeah. The most superhero shit.
And then I guess the second scene, instead, okay, so to metagame this a little bit.
Yeah, metagame it.
Yeah, upright and reversed, meaning that it's either a parent or a sibling dying, means that it feels like this is a natural disaster in which parents and siblings are both there, and you're just picking who dies.
It feels
you
like,
I
mean? I think as an author, what I am setting up here is like, some time has passed. Like, you have this interaction. Iris like disregards it at the time, and then something larger than life occurs at like a family event or like a large public square event that is like that like parent, sibling, like family members are present for. Like it is you know, in the narrative as written, this is the moment where Helios ostensibly appears to be right because some larger than life comic book bullshit occurs and people die because action was not taken. I think that's what's set up for you, unless you want to either reverse that or defy it.
I'm going to defy it because I think this one's a big enough one that I want to pull that card. And I feel like the disaster has to be something supernatural that a different hero would have been better suited to deal with. And I think it's... Okay, so she's got plant powers. So I want to say this is something like... She has plant powers and she's a solo hero. I want to say this is something like somebody set off a series of bombings in the city. Like
that
real
feels
like
good.
Yeah, like real like Riddler Jokers type stuff where it's like if you are tracking this down yourself, this is impossible to do unless you're Batman, but if you had multiple people or if you had like, you know, people you could call on for this, it would have been much easier. And one of the locations of it would have been somewhere like I think maybe like her like there's like a family birthday party or something.
Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah. And like in a park that she was supposed to be at and her parents were supposed to be at, and instead it rained that day, so it got relocated, and that just kind of avoided the whole thing entirely, which is like not that exciting, but it's like a small enough change that maybe it would happen. But the bombs still did go off in other locations. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. That makes total sense. And so talk to me about like, so it sounds like a defy. Talk to me about like what the defiance looks like here, because are we saying that instead of someone close to you dying, like random people have died? Is that the defiance, or is there something else you're angling towards?
I think random people have died instead of somebody close to me, and I think that's something that she like. Wait, question: is she doing anything to the author to make this happen, or is it just kind of like? Because I feel like the rules on this are fuzzy.
Yeah, the rules on this are fuzzy, and I think like you get to kind of dictate. I think like how, you know, you have kind of an insight. Your character in this moment has an insight into like what is going to happen. And I think there's a moment where you kind of get to enact a certain degree of change over the story, whether that is like through your own action or through something sort of broader and weirder. Basically, you get to tell me like how or why you engineer it so that like what I intend to happen doesn't happen.
New pitch. She calls her parents and she calls her siblings, because I think she has like 2 siblings. Everybody in her family lives in the city, and I think she's the only one who moved out because of the like superhero stuff. Where she's like, "We are not having this birthday party. Do you know what happens at superhero families' birthday parties?"
That's really funny.
Where she like lists off a whole like laundry list of like, these are things that have happened in the last like 3 or 4 years, and like she doesn't go on to say this, but she doesn't say explicitly the narrative wants you guys to die, because then they would not listen to her. But she's like, "Listen, I'm trying to deal with keeping Philadelphia like safe right now, especially since like, you know, the council doesn't really doesn't approve of me leaving. So if we can postpone this, that would be amazing. I love you all. I would hate to have to lose you." And this does convince her family. That
hits really well. And I have a pitch for like what changes in that defiance, where it is like you are at somewhat like you are at someone's side when they die. Like it is like you are at home when someone dies. Like you see on the TV that exactly what you were describing, right? Like you see on the TV that like sure enough a series of masked criminals bombs like go off in a Riddler scheme around the city, kind of exactly as you anticipated. Like this was a superhero family function and everyone that you know would have been there. And like there is this clear moment because now I get to make my reaction, and I have flipped one of the major tarot cards to indicate the author's reaction. I've drawn the Hierophant, which represents like structure and order, and like there is in the back of your mind, I don't even know if it's like an explicit message, but there is like in the back of your mind. Actually, I know how the message becomes explicit. Like, you were correct, 100%. Like, this was a predictable story beat, and you correctly identified it. And I think like what happens is the next morning on your in front of the door of your apartment, there is like a newspaper. On it is just story after story from across the world of like superhero family functions were disrupted by various horrible comic book events. And every single one of those stories includes some indication of, and then the hero found true reserves of strength and rose to the occasion. And, more good was done because the hero was driven by loss, and it became a foundational shaping moment in their personal journey. And the overwhelming message in this newspaper is, this shit has a structure. Like, there is a playbook at play here to make you into the person that you need to be to do the heroic things that need to be done. You need to be playing by the fucking book.
That's excellent.
I'm excited. Okay, this hits. This is hitting. Which means we come to our third scene. You have the option to reverse this if you would like. And that is, you make a promise to your friend that you can't keep. Or no, sorry, this is reversed. So it is, you make a promise to your friend that costs you dearly, or you can reverse that to make it that you make a promise that you can't keep. I'm thinking in this moment how to like what the deal is, what more details on your friend to set this up.
Yeah, I'm feeling like, okay, so I think the friend is like a local non-affiliated hero with very minimal powers, or like powers that are more like, we were talking about Magic Gardens earlier, and I like the idea of Magic Gardens being kind of a base for them, and also that they can like travel through mirrors or something.
Travel through mirrors is great. And I like, travel through mirrors is great. And like, there is like, I think like, the sort of environmental power that I want to pull on this, thinking about the visual of the Magic Gardens, is like very not particularly helpful, but useful on a neighborhood level, is like can grant that to a limited degree. Like if a mirror is installed, like can grant some degree of like limited communication between mirrors, of like a little bit of like of divination, of like, I can set up a mirror so that you can see across the world and like check in on a loved one if you can't reach them. Like things that are not particularly useful in a world where we have, video calls and computers in our pockets. But like, there is a sense of, hey, there's always going to be a moment where you can't reach someone and you need to know that they're okay. And I can like conjure a mirror on a wall that might give you a sense that they're okay.
And then, okay, so the one that I want to go with here, I think doesn't make sense in the context that the friend kind of convinced you back to move to Philadelphia. But it's that the friend wants you to talk to, like, the council and to Helios and, like, all of those people about, I'm trying to figure out what it would be, though. Because
maybe it's I think I've got something.
Ooh, yeah, lay it on me.
Like maybe it's that this friend and maybe it's not. Maybe this particular friend isn't the one that convinced you to move, or maybe they could even still be of like, this feels a lot like Helios just being a dick. Like it could be, can you go to the council and just tell them like, hey, one of your members just threatened me and is threatening an entire, like, one of your members let a horrible thing happen while he was in this city because he personally wanted to spite me for leaving. Like, there's a sense of like, can you go talk to them about the fucked up thing that is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And I feel like the costing you dearly part here is that now Iris has to go talk to all of these superheroes that she did not want to do that.
That feels great.
And yeah.
So are you sticking with that as written, or are you reversing that to a promise you can't keep?
I'm sticking to that as written.
Okay, that feels good.
Yeah.
That feels good. Great. Which means that chapter 2 of our story. I'm going to put these cards aside. Chapter 2 of our story really then has to involve like the picture of the superhero world as fully enveloped in that sort of weirdness and entropy. This is going to be our deck of swords. This is our deck of swords, and I'm going to, after 3 scenes, I get to leave you another message. I'm going to draw another major arcana as we head into outer space. It's got to be into outer space.
Oh,
it's got to be
100%.
Oh, good draw. Good timing. Everybody's favorite orange boy is here. The timing could not be better to see him. Gritty is here. The devil is in front of me. This is the devil. It is addiction. It is chaos. It is excess, and that is both deadly but also fun. Like, it is indulgence, and I think the message here is yes, it's dangerous. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's not what you want in your life, but try to see the fun in all of this. There is a joy, there is a glee to this if you allow yourself to see it.
You know, this is also all true about Gritty as well. So
that is true. It's a great assignment of a card. It feels right. It's the perfect tarot card. Yeah, it's try to see the fun in this. Yes, don't overindulge, but like there is a joy to, as we see the spaceship and we see, robots and somebody walking by riding a dinosaur and bird people flying overhead. Like it's a push to try and get you as character to allow yourself to feel the fun of the world that you are considering rejoining. And I'm going to flip our 3 cards.
Interesting. I feel like Iris from that, I think, is surprised because a lot of the previous messaging has felt very much like these are things you're supposed to do, as opposed to this could be fun. This could be fun for you. And yeah, she's kind of wary, but curious. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Okay, the 3 prompts that we have. Oh, interesting. Then upright 3 of swords, which is that a rumor spreads about your family. Reversed would be that a rumor spreads about your past. An upright page of swords, which is your friend tells you that they've made a dire bargain, or that your friend tells you that they've made a dangerous enemy, if reversed. And an upright 6 of swords, which is you're spotted while eavesdropping on a conversation. So maybe taken together, as written, taken together as the author, what it feels like is like you have come here to basically call Helios out and get protection granted back to the city of Philadelphia. Helios knows that this is happening and is going to spread a rumor about your family and about maybe your complicity in the attack on Philadelphia, that maybe that was your attempt to curry favor with the council so that they would let you walk away even though no one walks away. That the page then represents in turn that rumor gets back, maybe there's also a reveal that your friend has made a dire bargain he has agreed to join the council in your place if you don't do this, because if they're gonna make a deal that says that somebody needs to have that seat, and if it can't be you, it's gonna have to be me. And you're spotted while eavesdropping on a conversation with Helios where he is setting you up to take a fall.
Interesting. Okay. I think I'm going to take the 3 of swords just on the nose.
Okay.
I think the way that this goes is basically the rumor spreads that I deliberately, like you said, like, I've engineered the situation that was, like, I was complicit in letting this happen because I wanted to prove that, like, Philadelphia needed protection.
Sure, that feels great.
And that I deliberately told my family not to be in these places because of that. So, like does that seem about right?
Yeah. That's exactly I think what the author is intending.
And yeah, I think Iris takes it on a nose. I think Iris is like, I don't think she was thinking about that, because I think she thinks about her family as, she didn't think about her family as a plot point, because she assumed that, like, if they hadn't been killed, maybe it's not relevant anymore. And then I think for the page, can I make a pitch for what's happening here for the dire bargain or
yes,
dangerous
please.
enemy?
Yeah,
which is that I like the idea that, like, our friend has made a deal with a supervillain.
That feels
for
good.
Protection.
That feels great.
As opposed to the council, because I think the council wouldn't take them because they are low level enough that, like, they are not an adequate replacement for you. And there's probably some, like, interesting jealousy components here, right? Because let's say that you guys were friends and, like, one of you has, like, far greater powers. And I think the friend has made a deal with a competing, I imagine in this universe, the line between superhero to peak supervillain is, like, there are shades of gray within here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the friend was going to make a deal with one of the, like, local, not a local, like, supervillain, but somebody who offers protection for cities and, like, towns that are not usually, like, that are not covered by the council.
Sure.
And, like a hero for hire thing. And this guy is clearly, like, I feel like this dude is, like, evil billionaire type.
I flipped a major arcana to flesh out a character pitch, and the card that has landed in front of me fucks and has created instantly in my head a character that perfectly slots into this pitch. I flipped the Fool, but reversed. The Fool here is embodied by the Philly Fanatic, and reversed. This is, tech bro, peak tech bro energy of, like, you know, the world's smartest man living computer type, like Brainiac energy of, like, he's
disrupting.
He's disrupting the superhero space, and he's doing it by creating a web of character, like a web of, a direct response web, and he's building this master plan, while revealing, and it is the epitome of, like, seeing the forest for the tree, or not seeing the forest for the trees.
That's excellent. God, this is so funny. Okay, I'm gonna reverse this card.
Okay.
Because I think what happens here is my friend tells me that they're planning on making this bargain, right? Because I think it's kind of like a, hey, sorry about that, like, hey, sorry I asked you to go talk to the council, like, how's all of that going? By the way, I think I figured out a solution to protecting Philadelphia that isn't us having to deal with the council. Let me tell you about my new friend.
Oh, that's great. Yep. And then and the vibes are just bad immediate. Like as we're hearing about this, we're seeing an interview on TV, and it's just every bad tech bro interview of being like, what I'm talking about is rolling out a new model of super. What I'm talking about is like an interconnected web. Like, what I'm saying is that honestly, within 10 years, we could have a superhero in every home in every home in the world within 10 minutes. The possibilities are endless.
Mm-hmm. And so then like on the phone, I'm like, are you stupid? Like, this is not going to work. And then I list off, like, all of the ways this won't work and how, like, I have dealt with this guy's minions before. Because this guy has, like... It's, like... This guy, like, has been around for a while in various, like, guises of trying to hashtag disrupt things. And he's like... And Iris is like, listen, if you bring him into Philadelphia... Did you see what happened to Detroit? Anyway, like, stuff like that.
That feels great. That feels really good. Incredible author response to this. To you flipping this and instead immediately shutting down this character and setting up a new enemy. Incredible author response, which is the star, which is high hopes and a bright future of like almost a sense of like, we start to see the news we see news tickers immediately go off with a sense of like, Hector Midbrain is great. Hector Midbrain, Hector Midbrain spurned by the city of Philadelphia. Philadelphia says to Midbrain, get packing, not in our city. And like, there is this immediate turn, almost like impossible to get to you, possible that it got to them so quickly. Like, the world seems to be pushing this conflict to 11, sending you a message of, yeah, sure, we can go with this. If this is where we want the story to go, like, let's do it. But you're still going to have to, like, you're still going to have a big showdown. Like, that's where these stories go. And if it's going to be a showdown with this guy instead, let's make it happen. And like, there's an immediate escalation of you refuting this guy into the story, pushing you towards this eventual conflict.
Can I make a pitch that the newspapers also say that, like, I specifically am rebuffing him too?
Yep,
like,
100%.
Yep.
It's you are set up as the conflict here, like being like, you're gonna fight this guy. You're gonna have a big fight. You're gonna do something. That's
so funny. Midbrain is excellent schlocky hero name. Well, villain name.
It feels good. It feels really good. Sometimes you Google a list of terms and you spot one and you're like, that's the one. That's it, baby.
Okay. And then I think, either I'm spotted while eavesdropping in a conversation, or I can...
So because you reversed the other one, what you can do, you can defy this one and make it you're spotted while doing something. You tell me what you are spotted while doing.
God, I feel like the story wants to push it into Iris is spotted while... Okay, the two things I'm thinking about here. First, that Iris is spotted while listening to Helios talking with Midbrain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, or Iris is spotted while investigating, like, Midbrain's office.
Both of those feel great. Both of those feel like a really good escalation.
Okay, let's go with the former, because I think Iris, after seeing all of that, is like, they clearly want me to deal with this guy, and I'm not going to because he is, like, he's out of the picture. He's not in Philadelphia anymore. The rest, he can go choke in San Francisco for all I care.
Mm-hmm.
But she wants to see if Helios, like, was the one who spread all of these rumors. Like, what does he have in his office? That sort of stuff, like, on a space station. And she's here on the space station anyway, right? And then she hears them talking.
Yeah. It's, I think, like, it is... Okay, I think I really want to, I think this is such a good defiance This is such a good defiance, and also the reaction from the author is so good that I've got a really strong pitch for you.
Okay.
Which is, you hear them talking, and I think this is a moment where the reality of the fiction breaks down.
Ooh,
I think
okay.
I think this is a really good play for. This is a really good moment for, like, you know, a lot of what has happened has been like, oh, this is still like within the realm of like possibility. And I think this is a good break point where suddenly it's not explicable. Like there's the kayfabe here has been broken. Because I think like the conversation that you hear is Helios talking to Midbrain and saying something to the effect of like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Either she's gonna find out that I've been fucking spreading rumors and fucking around with her family history, or she's gonna find out that you've set up some sort of authoritarian, you know, assassinating politicians and union leaders thing and go kill you. Either way, that's a huge superhero battle. Bing bang boom, everything is great. We get it. Like, they are openly discussing the plot details because they perceive themselves to be off camera.
That's really good.
And there's this open sense of, yeah, no, obviously, like, between one of the two of us, like, there's gonna be a superhero battle at the end. Like, we're golden. Like, she's mad at somebody, and somebody's gonna get their ass kicked.
That, I think she sees this, and she is like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like, I feel like that's a reasonable response.
Yeah.
I don't think she says anything in this time, but now, like, after thinking about it for a bit, I think her first thought is that there's someone pulling both of their strings. And is now she's thinking about, like, hypothetical third parties, cough cough, the author.
Yep. And I think, like, oh, I love that, like, this is the reaction card here, especially with it being reversed, is really fun to, like, get like a series of buzzing notifications on your phone. Like, I guess, like, what do you do with this knowledge? Like, do you fuck off? Like, do you confront somebody? Like I think, like, because I think there's a like a warning that comes, but I think it's dependent on what specific action that you take that, like, triggers the author to send you this warning.
Okay, so I think this is too weird for her to want to talk about over the phone. But she does want to tell someone about it. And I think she calls her friend through a mirror.
I'm deciding that his superhero name is Mirror. That just feels right. If he's communicating with people through mirrors and is like
on the
setting
walls, yeah. And then so she calls them and basically tells them verbatim what she heard, and also that there's probably gonna, like, that this dude has been, like, interfering in Philadelphia. And I think like Mirror is like, oh, what? Wait, oh my God. Like, it's really funny. Okay. It's really funny to, like, have this conversation with Mirror and they immediately go, oh, fuck, wait, no, I've been hearing reports for weeks about, like, people disappearing and, like, political figures that were pushing for, like labor changes have been getting swept up in, like, superhero crises. Have these been engineered? Oh my God. And, like, on this call in front of you, like, breaks down all of the, like, hypothetical third act reveals that would have come of, like, quietly investigating this once you were involved, and, like, breaks all this down, being like, oh my God, if I got involved in this, I probably wouldn't have noticed that until, like, I was way too deep and until I had done a thing that, like, violated my moral code. That would have really fucked with me. Oh my God, we probably would have ended up on opposite sides of a conflict that would have tested both our friendship and our superhero capabilities. Fuck. And I'm like, you see why I told you not to go with this guy?
Wow. What a haunting look at what it means to saddle up with a specific kind of authoritarian with the promise of easy solutions to our problems. Wow.
And then she's like, yes, but you need to focus on They are talking to each other, and they were talking about this like it is, like it's wrestling. Like we're all like wrestlers or something.
Okay, so then like, okay, so then like, what if we just fuck off? Like, if this whole thing is just trying to get you to fight some guy, like, what if you just said no? Like, that's what we're doing in Philadelphia to begin with, was that we didn't want to get involved in whatever bullshit they were doing. We could just say no.
Huh.
Right?
See, I didn't want to do that completely because I wanted to help people, but if me getting involved at all is what's like making all of this happen, and that without me okay, yeah, let's fuck off. Let's fuck off and see what happens. I don't know if I feel good about this one, but that was a weird conversation I just saw.
And I now get to reveal the author response card, which is really funny, which is a reversed moon. Moon representing like danger or like stakes or big changes, which means that like reversed really like you get a series of buzzing on your phone that is just like nothing happens. And like they are news alerts, but they are news alerts that are increasingly saying like nothing happens. Big superhero fight does not occur. Reality unravels as lack of narrative stakes undermine existence. Like there's a very clear sense of like you need to the message. I think the message is made explicit here is like you need to understand what world you inhabit and like what you are here to do, and at some point you were given these superpowers so that you could throw hands with somebody, and if that doesn't happen, this all goes away. Like, there's just nothing here. Your existence is eventually to throw hands with somebody. Without those, if you're truly just gonna walk away, and like you need to understand that like that fight's gonna happen, or nothing, or this all gets wiped away.
That's so good. I think that's unnerving as hell for her.
This feels good. This feels the author is really coming into perspective for me as I'm flipping more cards, and that's really joyful. Okay, I've got our next stack of cards. Oh, interesting. Fascinating. So chapter 3 is the two of you have fucked off, and the two of you are like ignoring people's calls, and like I've got here our 3 cups. I flipped our 3 cards. Cups, as I always must call out, is the suite of cheesesteaks, which is very funny. And what I've got here are 3 cards. I've got the 5 of cups. You are reversed. You are startled awake by a strange noise. The king of cups, also reversed. This is your foe asks you for help. And the 7 of cups, also reversed. You receive a letter that declares a challenge. Okay, I've got a really... I want to pitch you what these scenes say in conversation.
Go for it.
You are, like... the strange noise that wakes you up is like a siren that you've never heard before. Like a sort of like emergency noise that is like unlike anything that any noise you've ever heard. And like it is accompanied by news reports that like natural disasters are escalating around the world. And the world is crumbling at the seams. Like it is a rapid onset of natural disasters and random supervillain attacks and crises that are escalating at such a rate that it feels like the world is pulling itself apart at the seams. The King of Cups represents your foe asking you for help. And I think that is Helios, as you like Helios, either maybe at the roof of your apartment building or in your apartment or like whatever, wherever we want that scene to happen. Helios is like, what you need to understand is that, like, if you don't have, like, making explicit the threats of that message that you got earlier of like, we need you to show up and kick somebody's ass and embrace your powers in a fun, destiny fulfilling way, or all of this is just going to keep getting worse. We can't explain it. We don't understand it, but it's just going to keep escalating until we can't fix anything. And as that happens, then Midbrain issues a challenge in a very supervillain way of like, I am tapping my full resource network to go after, like, is basically like setting the stage to kind of give you the opportunity, quote unquote, to fix this and go have a fight.
That's really good. Oh, man.
So taking this one scene at a time, you are awoken by a strange noise.
Okay, wait, what was the upright version of that?
You are startled awake by a recurring nightmare.
Okay, given that she has mostly been able to make changes because of her ability to predict what will happen next in a superhero series, I think this one just continues. I don't think she can change that. Yeah.
That feels great. Reality is pulling itself apart at the seams. And we're seeing reports of natural disasters and supervillain attacks and, alien crises from the cosmos, and just all manner of nightmares are just like unfolding. All the news is racked, and we come to our next scene, which is, I think the flaming chariot is hovering outside, I think is what I want it to be. That and sitting, clearly having not slept in like 36 hours, having watched this happen where you were not at 3 separate moments where you were supposed to be at, clearly frazzled as all hell, is Helios, like, head in hands, like, we need to have a conversation.
And I think she really wants to close that door. And I think she doesn't just because she wants answers to her questions. So I think that this is the worst she's seen him, and I think she looks at him and she says, this is playing into every single trope, and I'm supposed to feel bad for you because you look like this, and because you've been dealing with stuff I was supposed to be dealing with. And why? And then I think she just like recounts what she's heard him talking about with Midbrain. And is like, my understanding, and what everybody else understands, is that superheroes cause problems. Or like superpowered individuals cause problems. You get too many of them who use too many of their powers in a certain like radius, and then you end up like basically attracting more of the same thing. And then once you get to a certain level of this everywhere, then you just need heroes to exist. And the best thing heroes could do would be to fuck off. And like we don't really even deal with any of the structural and then she basically goes into like a whole explanation of like how superheroes like are not a substitute for like structural change, and how like we are really just keeping the status quo, and the council like all of that. And she's like, what do you know that I don't?
Fuck yeah, because I think this is such a good reveal moment of like he is looking like a sad, wet little dog, and like slowly as you talk through this, like the sad, wet dog energy like falls away, and he like stands up and kind of like re-slicks back his hair, has been like sticking up, and re-slicks it back and puts a headband back in place, and like is scowling more and more, and is like, what the fuck do you think? What the fuck what the fuck world do you think that you occupy? Yes, you are correct that structural change would make all of this better. Do you think that if and he's like, he's like grappling with trying to explain, explain this of like, yes, You're exactly correct. I am a living solar battery. I am the power of the sun made manifest. I could provide cheap, easy energy for the entire world on an ongoing basis, eliminate all need for fossil fuels. I could do that in an instant. Do you know what happens if I do that? The world gets better, and I am not needed anymore. And I think, like, he starts explaining, like, you have it backwards. You think that it is that it is a consequence of using powers that leads to stuff happening, but the reality is that is the only thing that keeps us around and keeps any of this from happening. Is we need that degree of weird shit, of nightmare situations, of plots and schemes and disasters, because if we don't have that, all of this falls apart. And he starts like, and he kind of like, I think like basically he breaks down that like, eventually you realize that it is not us, that like, you realize that the world, that it is not a one-way street of superpowers cause disasters. It is a two-way street of superpowers cause disasters, which cause superheroes to avert those disasters, which keeps the train going. If that arrangement ever stops, everything unravel, like the world that we occupy unravels, and we all die.
And then I think she says something like, so you're saying that this world requires a steady stream of tragedies to run?
I wish that it weren't the case, but yeah.
Why?
And he kind of like, I think like he kind of like stamps on the edge of the chariot and like waves outward. Oh, this is actually a really good moment. He waves outward at him at like the windows of the high-rise apartment across the street. And they start showing things almost in the way that like almost conspicuously like Mirror's powers are controlling this, and says like, because, and you see like image after image of someone watching a TV or reading a comic book or like following a story of like, because they need to be inspired that action can meet disaster. And like it is unclear if these are people in your world or a different world, but like it is just the sense of like they need to see that extraordinary action and that people can do good within their capacity for doing good. Our job is not to avert disaster. Our job is to present a story that inspires them and gives them a warm feeling that they in their powerless state can do some degree of good. If we stop doing that, or if we do it too well, then what do they have? Not a damn thing.
And I think she watches this for a while and looks out onto like the rest of the city and says, okay, but why? There are thousands, tens of thousands of heroes out there. It can't matter so much that like, why does me leaving cause all of these problems?
He like, you still don't get it. Like, you walked away. They need to see that even if you walk away, you can still come back. They need to see that, you know, and he kind of like pauses and they need to see that you can never really walk away. They need to know that you have a responsibility to step up and to do your part. And that you don't get to always dictate what that looks like. Your role is to teach them a lesson. You have to do that, or else it all falls apart. We all have our role to play. If we don't play our part, It all goes to shit. And this is, I'm sorry to say, this is your part.
And she takes a deep breath, and then she shouts at him and into the night. And this is definitely not the weirdest thing someone shouted into the night.
Not in Philly, no.
Not in Philly, yeah. No more fucking tragedies. No more fucking up my family. No more drawing my friends into things. No more fucking, like, and then she lists off all of the hero situations. Mm-hmm. Like, where somebody was driven by a great, like, sadness to go on. No more making people do things because they have no other choice. If this is a story, if we are a story, and this is a story about heroes, then this needs to be a story about then heroes don't come from sadness and darkness, and they don't come from, like, people don't become heroes because of what happened to them. People become heroes because of what they want to do. And I know that people like you, and she points at Helios, like, don't understand that, but fine. I will go put on the mask, and I will go do the thing. Not because of anything that happened in my past, but because I want to build a future that exists.
I am staring at this reaction card from the author. Actually, I'm not even sure that I need a reaction card here, because I think you're sort of following the thing as written. I think that this, I'm going to hold on to this reaction card because we do have one more opportunity here. You have a reversal and a defiance in play. So you can reverse this to upright, or you can change the underlined text. This is the 7 of Cups. You receive a letter that declares a challenge. Midbrain has put a bounty on as publicly declared on a TV screen that a bounty has been placed on your head, and every hero that has succumbed to his tech bro cult of personality bullshit is headed towards your location. You can change that to a letter that is laced with poison, or you can change what the letter says altogether.
I want to change what that letter says altogether. And what I want to do is I want to change it so that he is not attacking my location. And because I'm in, like, Philly right now. Mm-hmm. I want him to attack, like, the space station.
That's great. Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
Because, if we're going to have a superhero battle, we might as well have a fucking superhero battle.
Right, for sure. And, like, I think, like, Helios, he starts to say, like, I think, like, okay, there's a great moment here. Helios steps up and is very much like, okay, fine, like, go do your thing. And then, like, hears him instead say the space station, looks at you sort of mouth agape, and with a voice that is not his own, with a voice that is someone else from another world, it just says, if that's how you want to play it, fine, but people are gonna die. There have to be consequences. There has to be tragedy for any of this to matter. I have flipped as a reaction a reversed justice. If there's not blood, none of this matters. And what happens now is on your hands.
And then she's like, everyone here opted into this. That's not true of my hometown. I think that's maybe all that she has a chance to say before his eyes go back to normal. Yeah.
Great. Which means that we come to our 4th act. I've got the final showdown is here. We've got a reverse Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands represents the final confrontation of your foe ends in your decisive defeat.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. That card is being reversed is wild. The 5 of Wands, which is upright. A failure makes you realize your allies are holding you back. And the 3 of Wands, upright, your greatest secret is revealed. Fuck. Okay. So obviously how this works is that, like, my midbrain wipes out the superheroes on the satellite and then sets his eyes, and and the heroes simply failed to stop the villain. And you realize that no amount of other heroes are going to be able to stop this, and that you are going to have to fight this. And God, your worst, and in the process, your greatest secret will be revealed as you have your final confrontation showdown with the final villain.
Excellent.
Taking it one scene at a time. This is the final confrontation with your foe. Right now, it is going to be your decisive defeat. Do you want to reverse that to collateral damage, or change that altogether?
I think I want to change that. So if we're saying like my decisive defeat, can that be like the whole superheroes?
Yeah, that's the entire superhero community. All of the satellite is just wiped out.
I think I want to reverse that, and basically what I want to have done beforehand is to call. I'm going to say Mirror can bring other people through.
Mm-hmm. Sure, that feels great.
Yeah, and I think what Iris does, is she tells Mirror, you got to start pulling people through from the space station. Here are all the credentials so you can lock in. Here's where all the mirrors are. Can you get there right now?
Great.
So I think the space station basically falls apart, but most of the people who need air to breathe are gone. And I think Iris is okay because she can generate plants and like make sort of a living helmet around herself.
That feels great.
Cool.
So you are changing this text. What do you want to change? Your final confrontation with your foe ends with what?
Well, I mean, I think this is just reversing it, right?
Yeah, this is a reverse. Reverse. It ends in collateral damage. The satellite is destroyed, but everyone is safe, is back home and safe.
Yeah, and not everyone, but like there's less. Could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse. And Naked Danny DeVito is here. I've got the world card. It is the Always Sunny gang. That is the author. Like, now just coming from the skies, as all of the heroes, or most of the heroes stand on Earth, is just coming from the skies of, like, now what? Like, what is the, like, again, like, I think it's just the big question, like, rains from the sky of, like, what's the point of any of this? Like, something has to resolve here, or it's pointless. Mm-hmm. And we come to the 5. Which you still have a defiance, a confrontation. Nope, that's a 6. A failure makes you realize your allies are holding you back.
I think I want. Okay, so then the last one after that is the 3, right?
Your greatest secret is revealed.
I'm gonna keep that because I think that's. It makes more sense to me to totally, fuck with the... Yeah, I think it makes more sense to defy my ideals, like, to defy that my allies are holding me back, because I don't know that necessarily...
Yeah, like, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, there's not a ton of here that's like,
I like this. I think I see what you're going for. Yeah. It doesn't, because I think like what that means fundamentally is that like, if I can throw out a pitch here, it's almost.
Go for it.
You've got these other heroes, all of whom you've saved, and are having this moment, and like now there's this moment where all of these people that have been in this situation, that have been in this moment, are all facing this moment of like, wow, I was almost killed for what? And I think like if I can throw, the natural fit here is that it's, if anybody's holding you back, it is the author that wants all of these things to happen to you.
Yeah, I think that's right. But then I'm struggling for what the actual action here is, other than like me getting all of the heroes to help beat Midbrain.
I think that's exactly
that might just be what it is.
I think that's exactly what it is, and even more so, it's like it's convincing. Like, hey, it's fucked that we're in this position to begin with. Like, like we're here because somebody wants us to be a moral point, and not because somebody wants us to be living people.
Yeah.
And so our final card, because you've used your reversal and your defiance, what is the secret that is revealed over the course of this fight?
Is it a cop-out to say the greatest secret that she has right now is that we are all pawns in a greater narrative game?
No, I think that feels really nice, especially in terms of, like, what has already been revealed to the other characters, and, like...
Yeah.
And also it sets up very nicely, it bleeds directly into Chapter 5, which is, you punched, like, reality is fully undone at this moment, and, like... reality is fully unwritten, and you punch through reality, and like the story unbends, and suddenly you are in an apartment in West Philly, staring at the person that has written this piece. And so we come to Chapter 5, the resolution, the final showdown. Which pieces of your friend do you... So, looking at the cards that are in front of you, which pieces of yourself do you see within the author? Like, what about the characters of this story do you see in the author?
I mean, of the story of, like, love of superheroes, hatred of tech bros, like, likes genre, like, conventions, but also likes to subvert the genre conventions. And I think... Also, with the way that the story has gone, I think she's also seeing very much like, sometimes people have to die for the greater good.
Yeah, that feels great.
Yeah.
And I think, what the big question here, like, what did this story mean to the author as you finally get to have your confrontation?
Wait, should I answer that, or should
actually
you answer
I started to say that and realized,
yeah.
I want to answer this, which is, I feel like it's, the piece of the author's experience that is buried in this became increasingly explicit as the story unraveled, which is like, you have an obligation to continue to try. Like, you have an obligation to continue to do the work. And you can walk away, but if you have the opportunity to make a bigger difference, you have the obligation to do that. And like, this was all written with a superhero bent to try and convey that. And the reality is that meant showing the consequences of what happens if you try to turn your back and try to look away. And so, yeah, some deaths were going to be part of that, because I'm trying to convey the idea that turning your back means that people die. But what has now happened is that Iris is standing in my office, and I've set my Arcana deck aside. I cannot use it. You have won defiance. You meet your author. They are no longer in control. You say your piece, you act without mercy. You can change either the phrase, you say your piece, or you act without mercy. Which do you change?
I'm going to change you act without mercy.
Okay.
And I'm going to change that to you return to your world. And I think the thing that Iris says while looking at you is like, I get your intentions. I get what you were trying to show people. It's the same thing I was trying to show people. Every day, I did that fucking job. Every day, I walked through fire. Every day, I called, like, plants from the earth to try and just turn the desert into a garden. The thing you didn't understand is that it is not... You can't force heroism on someone. Not even someone you make. You can't say nobody walks away. The point of this job, the point as I've always seen it, is that I am, as a person, want to make something better, and I see this as the best, most direct route. Not that I'm trapped doing the same dance day after day after day. And I love the world you built. I live there. I want to protect it the best way I can. That doesn't always mean making plants grow. That doesn't always mean beating up supervillains who are just going to, like, bribe their way out of prison. And I think that even though you loved the story, you were starting to strangle it. And I'd like to see where you take it when you loosen the reins a little.
That's great. That's really great. And I think like kind of like I slink back in my chair and I just like I'll give it a try. And the final thing that we see is like you are standing in like a flash of light, you are standing in an empty lot and plants are starting to grow. And we see like what looks initially like a comet, but like a flaming chariot fly overhead. And it simply keeps flying. And like it starts to rain a little bit. And the crisis is not what happens when that flaming chariot lands. It's, hey, what happens? Hey, how am I gonna like tend this garden? How am I gonna get this garden through the autumn to make sure that everything survives okay?
That's such a good ending.
This is great. This hit. Thank you so much for this. This was a blast.
I'm so glad. This was so much fun.
Oh my god, this was magnificent. What was your favorite moment from play?
I think my favorite moment was we are taking the fight from Philadelphia to space.
That really hit hard. That was great. I think for me, the moment that you called out, like, hey, Helios, I know that you're trying to make me feel bad by looking like shit, and then giving me the treat of getting to go, all right, well, then he's going to drop the act and get indignant. That was really joyful.
That was really good. I really enjoyed like all of the meta conversations and how they built from noticing things in the world that were like slightly off. Mm-hmm. That was all just delightful. I really liked how this like grew super organically.
Really, really well. Really, really well. Well played. Great story. Thank you so much for this. I'm beaming. Before we wrap things up, where can people find you and your work online?
You can find me at isabel.kim because I bought that domain when I was like 15. And you can also find me at isabel.kim on Blue Sky and at isabeljkim on Instagram.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. This was an incredible experience. I am overjoyed. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. Absolute pleasure. And for now, take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Isabel for coming on the show. That game was breathtaking. It's so wonderful to like have this kind of experience where we both like get into a vibe space and truly just like take turns pushing it a little further and pushing it a little further and like simultaneously finding this really satisfying narrative thread. It's magical. It's absolutely magical. Be sure to pick up your own copy of Sublimation. Put in your pre-order now. You can find a link to that in the show notes. Be sure to pick up your own copy of Death of the Author at blinkingbirchgames.itch.io. And be sure to follow Isabel on social media at isabel.kim. Now, if you like this episode, as always, there is one thing that I would like for you to do. And that is if there is an artist whose work you love that you want to hear on the show, you should tell me about it. And specifically, you should tell me about it in the form of a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Write me a little review and say, this is the person that I would like to hear on the show. Why that is legitimately very helpful is that it not only gives me a nice review that tells me that I'm doing a good job and makes my day better, it also gives me a foot in the door to reach out to that person and a tangible thing that I can point to and say, hey, this person wants you on the show. You should come onto my podcast and play a game with me. And the more Apple and Spotify and whatever reviews we get, the more easy it is to like point to the show and say, look at how legitimate this is. You should come on the podcast. Anyway, that's my pitch. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming onto the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, shoot me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's all we do here, so until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance, and as always, party on, everybody.
Never gonna die.